But just recently, in the last 12 hours, it has been announced that Joy Taylor and several others, NFL players, former NFL players, have been released from FS1. Now, this news comes out amid all the allegations that were going on in a lawsuit that was filed against Fox by someone we're going to talk about in a minute. All right, we're going to go actually look at the lawsuit. I'm going to show you guys again what's being alleged that some of the people at Fox did, specifically one of the executives there, and what Joy Taylor had to do in part of that. But for now, let's just talk about what's going on with Fox and FS1 and why Joy Taylor could have been released and what they're saying the reason she's gone, even though it might be something else. We'll see. Joy Taylor out as FS1 Armageddon and 3 shows. So not just her show. The network is canceling Breakfast Ball, The Facility, and Speak. Used to be, or formerly known as Speak for Yourself, with a wide variety of replacements under consideration. Here we go. FS1 is making sweeping changes to its programming lineup as 3 of its 5 daily shows are getting canceled. Guys, that is a huge deal. Because we already saw what happened with Skip Bayless and Undisputed Ending. That was gone. He tried to make it work with Michael Irving and a couple other people. He had Paul Pierce on there as well. Didn't work out. So that ended. And now we have these 3 shows ending. And I think it has a lot to do with this lawsuit we're going to get into here in a second. In the shakeup, Joy Taylor's 9-year tenure with the network has come to an end. Breakfast Ball, The Facility, and Speak will be no more, leaving The Herd with Colin Cowherd and Jason McIntyre, and First Things First with Nick Wright, Chris Broussard, and Kevin Wiles as the only shows remaining in the lineup, the front office sports has confirmed. The news was first reported by The Athletic. A Fox spokesperson declined to comment. Talents whose shows were canceled include Craig Carton. I don't know who that is. Mark something, Danny Partkin. I don't know who these guys are. Emmanuel Acho. We're going to talk about Acho here shortly. LaShawn McCoy, Chase Daniels, James Jones, Paul Pierce, Michael Irving, who can't catch a break. Neither can Keyshawn Johnson. They've got moved around like crazy. And of course, Joy Taylor. It is possible that a couple of talents could remain at the network as it cooks up new shows. Sources told FOS that on-air talents who could be in play for the new FS1 programming include some guy named Tony, Max Kellerman, and Kay Adams. On X, former co-host Jason Whitlock, who called this from the beginning, and he said he knew what was going on. He suggests that a TV version of All the Smoke with former NBA players Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson could be an option. I think Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson are a little too unhinged for that slot. So they would have to change things a lot if they were going to do that. But who knows? Maybe Fox is going in a different direction. The longtime host of ESPN's former show, it bounces down, excuse me, of ESPN's canceled show Around the Horn told FOS he's interested in absolutely everything. He just wants a job. While he plans to be discerning about his future, he envisions a future where he works in both television and digital spaces at the same time. I'm open to talking to anybody and everybody at all times, he says, who's currently taking a long vacation with his family before weighing the next steps. While the scope of the cancellations is stunning, all 3 of the shows were struggling to attract audiences. They were all created by former FS1 boss Charlie Dixon. We're going to talk about Charlie here in a second, who exited the company in April, several months after he was named in lawsuits from former host Julie Stewart and former network hairstylist Faraji. We're going to talk about Faraji shortly. Taylor was also named in Faraji's lawsuit. Now, if you guys don't know why and how Joy Taylor was mentioned in this lawsuit and where Charlie Dixon comes in, well, we predicted that Charlie Dixon was going to be let go. They silently let him go in April. No surprise there. And we knew Joy Taylor was going to be falling. Now, it seems like they're letting her go under the guise of, oh, well, this show just isn't working. It's a network thing. I think it's a lot more than that. All right, check this out. So let's go ahead and get into this lawsuit that was filed by the former hairstylist, Miss Faraji. And again, we went over this and we covered this in another video. If y'all want to see the full breakdown of this lawsuit, I'll leave the video to that in the description. But we have N. Faraji, right? And she was going against the Fox Corporation, Fox Sports Holding, and specifically something that was interesting here, Charlie Dixon, Skip Bayless, and Joy Taylor. Now, when it comes to Skip Bayless, something that was interesting here is that Faraji was alleging that Skip Bayless was basically in love with her. Skip Bayless was trying to get her to be his, I don't know what, girlfriend, something. He allegedly offered her money to, I don't know, do what? I'll let you guys use your imagination on this. But specifically talking about Joy Taylor and Charlie Dixon in this, I wanted to skip ahead into this part of the summary. And this gets wild, and some crazy things are alleged against Joy Taylor and her relationship with the former executive Charlie Dixon. What is the title? And look at the title of this. It says, Mr. Dixon gives Miss Taylor undisputed as a reward for having intercourse with him. This is crazy. What is Faraji alleging? In approximately March 2016, Miss Faraji met Miss Taylor, an aspiring sports personality that had recently moved from Miami to Los Angeles for the opportunity of airtime at Fox, so they became friends. At the time, Miss Taylor did not have a regular position, but would fill in on a day-to-day basis when talent was sick or otherwise missed time. Jason Whitlock actually said that he had a show. They tried Joy Taylor out on his show. He was like, guys, I don't like Joy Taylor here. You can get her up out of here. Jason Whitlock also alleged that he saw Joy Taylor and the trouble she would be from a mile away. Looks like he may have called it. So Miss Taylor told Miss Faraji that she had recently wed, but her husband remained in Miami and that she was lonely in LA. Oh boy. Miss Taylor then befriended Miss Faraji. In approximately May of 2016, Miss Taylor asked Miss Faraji to meet for a drink in Santa Monica. When Miss Faraji arrived, she found Miss Taylor with an older man, Fox Sports Executive Vice President of Content, Mr. Dixon. As an executive vice president, Mr. Dixon was responsible for overseeing all content and production on FS1. Miss Faraji, however, did not know Mr. Dixon. She had no idea who he was. When Mr. Dixon went to buy them another round of spicy margaritas, Miss Faraji asked who he was. Miss Taylor responded that he was just a friend. Following that night, when Miss Faraji would meet with Miss Taylor for drinks or food, Mr. Dixon would either arrive with Miss Taylor or show up later in the night and leave with Miss Taylor. Oh my goodness. He would always buy rounds of drinks and or food. From their body language, Miss Faraji suspected that the pair were sleeping together. Hey, yo. And although this concerned Miss Faraji, as she knew Miss Taylor was recently married, Miss Faraji kept her opinions to herself. Y'all think that was the right move? In approximately June of that same year, while at work, Miss Faraji noticed Mr. Dixon in the elevator. Surprised by the coincidence, Miss Faraji found Miss Taylor and told her excitedly, "Hey, you know the guy who buys our drinks was in the elevator?" What? Miss Taylor quickly silenced Miss Faraji and said, "Yo, chill. We're not going to be talking about that." Explaining who he was. Miss Faraji became alarmed and warned Miss Taylor that such a relationship was unsafe. Miss Taylor told her not to worry about it. Miss Faraji continued to be friends with Miss Taylor, but tried to distance herself as she considered the situation dangerous as well as morally wrong, as Miss Taylor and Mr. Dixon were both married. It's a part of the business, apparently. In approximately July of that year, word spread among Fox's employees about a new show that was going to be a big deal, as it would star Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe. It was known that Fox was looking for a woman with significant TV presence to also star. Therefore, it came as a surprise when Fox announced that Joy Taylor, who was a bartender and radio host in Miami with very little TV experience, would be the moderator of the new show, a sports debate program, Skip and Shannon Undisputed. Mr. Bayless later disclosed to Miss Faraji that he did not want Miss Taylor on the show, but Mr. Dixon was adamant that Joy Taylor would star. Do y'all believe this? Do y'all believe this story? At first, Mr. Dixon arranged a dinner between Mr. Bayless and Joy Taylor, where she arrived in a provocative clothing. I think she's another one of these poor women that is just allergic to clothing in some ways. It's just certain parts of the body, they just do not do well with clothes. So you got to take the clothes off. Anyway, provocative clothing and acted in a provocative manner. Shocker. When that did not change Skip Bayless's opinion of Miss Taylor, Mr. Dixon asked him to approve of her as a favor to him. Reluctantly, Skip Bayless agreed to do so as a favor to his friend, Charlie Dixon. Around August of 2016, Miss Faraji attended a dinner with Miss Taylor and her husband and Mr. Dixon and his wife. Awkward. During the dinner, Miss Taylor's husband became suspicious that Miss Taylor and Mr. Dixon were having a relationship, an adult intercourse relationship. Soon after the dinner, Mrs. Taylor's husband found evidence of the appropriate or inappropriate relationship and divorced Miss Taylor. God. In approximately September of that same year, this is all happening in the span of 6 months, which is insane. In approximately September of that same year, Undisputed started. Joy Taylor requested Miss Faraji do her hair. In approximately November of that same year, after not allowing anyone to touch his hair, Skip Bayless also requested Miss Faraji to do his hair. Now, as we move forward throughout the lawsuit, you see these other titles. Mr. Dixon gropes Miss Faraji after putting her on Undisputed. It gets wild. Mr. Dixon gets rid of female talent members for refusing to have intercourse with him. They had to let this guy go after these allegations. Skip Bayless begins to give Miss Faraji lingering hugs and kisses on the cheek while putting his body against hers and pressing against her chest. Miss Faraji has her hours cut after going on medical leave. What else happened? Miss Faraji remains on Undisputed and is asked to join the herd. Joy Taylor was on the herd, right? Joy Taylor was on the herd for a while. In approximately the summer of 2018, 2 years later, Joy Taylor had moved from Undisputed to the herd with Colin Cowherd. Joy Taylor again requested Miss Faraji to do her hair. Colin Cowherd also requested Miss Faraji to do his hair. Thus, every day, Miss Faraji would do Mr. Bayless's hair for Undisputed and then would do Miss Taylor and Colin Cowherd's hair for the herd. Throughout her entire tenure at Fox, Mr. Cowherd was professional and respectful to Miss Faraji and her co-workers. Shout out to Colin. Around this time, after learning of Miss Taylor's and Mr. Dixon's relationship, Miss Taylor's then fiance broke off the engagement and threatened to go public with all that he knew. On information and belief, Mr. Dixon paid for the wedding deposits in a informal exchange for her fiance's silence. It gets crazier, guys. If you want to see this lawsuit, I'll leave it over on the Patreon for you guys because this story by Miss Faraji is insane. What do y'all think about this? Do you think the lawsuit and Joy Taylor being let go is connected? Do you think it's really just the fact that those shows, let's be real, were garbage and Fox doesn't want them anymore? Or do you think it's all of the above? Let me know what you think in the comments and in the chat.